excited. Ha. Okay, so I am going to pull up my screen because I made this pretty little slideshow because having the team call on Monday kind of helps me have Monday to get my life together. So we are talking about creating a long-lasting business, and it's kind of funny because I was talking to Sarah Thomas about what I was going to talk about on team call, and then the national wake-up call was kind of similar in topic because the coach talks about she's been coaching for 15 years. So since like Beachbody became a network marketing or a social selling company, and how she has stayed passionate about it. Because I think we all go through these ebbs and flows, and right, like, I mean, anything in life, you question if the career you're in is worth the time. You question, like, you know, do you want to switch career paths? Do you want to keep doing this, all this? So I'm hoping at the end of this call, what you'll take away is some ways to kind of reunite with the passion part of coaching and like why you coach, and understand like why you're doing this as a long-term thing. So first off, we're going to start with some announcements. Is that Job One is now on Beachbody on demand, which is huge. Like, guys, I've even been waiting because I like got access on Shane's account, but I've been using my account on my bike because I want the badges. And so like, I haven't even had access to Job One technically. And so I've been waiting to do Job One again because I think it is like one of the most fantastic programs, because guys, any workout you can do in 18 minutes that makes you feel that good is like top on my list. And Jennifer Jacobs is one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. I met her at NLC, and I met her obviously when Angie and I were in Punta Cana, and she is like, I kid you not, one of the most down-to-earth human beings. Like, she is just so passionate, and I love her because she grew up on a dairy farm. Like, who doesn't love a fellow farm girl? Like, and she is just a trainer who like understands, like, she was born out of hard work. So love her. Also wanted to put on here that Strawberry Lemonade Energize is launching June 27th. I am so excited for that. I also saw Joel posted that Lift More sample is going to be coming out in the next 2 weeks because it launches in July, guys. And I don't mean to say this because summer is going by way too fast already, but like July is in like in a month. And so crazy. And then don't forget the $20 off promo code. If you didn't see one in your inbox, it is your first name. I'd have to look again. It's like first name, summer 20 or June 20 or something, but they're generic codes, so you can use them with anyone. You have unlimited codes and stuff like that, but that's a good one. And you can use it on any pack besides the Fire and Flow pack. And some people were wondering why you can't use it on Fire and Flow. It's simply because it's already $20 off. And so the other thing though too is if you're talking to people about Job One, I would still do the Job One. Actually, I would do the Fire and Flow pack. It'd be the same cost, but they get access to Fire and Flow, and they'd still get the loops and can do Job One. So really, I didn't even think about that. The Fire and Flow pack would still be the best pack for them to do. And guys, technically it's $20 off. You can still tell them it's $20 off because it is. And so that's a good way to do it. But if you haven't done Job One, even just try a workout of it, because it is like literally one of my favorites. The girl, I did the body class for it today, and one girl that was on the body cast said she has done Job One 8 times, like the program. And I'm like, you people who do Soulmate, like there are people who have like literally done 80-day obsession multiple times. Or I think of Angie's husband, Isaac, like has literally done Lift 4. Like he only does Joel workouts. Like if Joel's not the trainer, he's not doing them. He likes his bike rides with JJ, who's Jennifer, right? He likes her 80s rides, but otherwise, like, not Joel, he's not doing it. So it's funny. Anyways, let's get into the content. I cut Shane's face off depending on where the bar is for you. But this is a driving force. They talked about this today, the 10-time elite coach, right? Been coaching 15 years, and it's kind of if she can, I can. And that's the mentality I really want from this team, is like, if she can do it, I can do it. Because that's really where I started with all of this, was like, if I watch these coaches who are on the Success Club trip, like guys, I literally watched someone who was on the Success Club trip before I even did Beachbody. And then when I started coaching, I'm like, well, if she can go to the Success Club trip, like I can go to the Success Club trip. Like her and I, like I can do what it takes. I'm willing to work for it. And so I just really hope that, you know, you don't look at me or you look at other people on the team and it's like, well, I'm really glad they're getting to do those things, or they're signing people up, or they're getting these results, or, you know, And you see it more as like, if that person can do it, it's proof that I can do it too. And so it's important to remember that, even if you see, I was talking, I'm not gonna lie, I have the worst comparison syndrome ever. Like, I compare myself, and I went to a new leader conference in Vegas this year. Obviously, you meet a lot of people. And so you meet people who are like at the same level you are, right? All 1-star diamond coaches. And there's one that I've watched like completely take off. Like, she's in the top 200 elite. She's hit team builder. She is like just running. She's in the podcast for Joel. Like, she's in the cast for Lift More. Like, all these things. It'd be so easy for me to be like, well, that's great for her. I'm glad she's rocking it. But instead, I'm like, if she can do it with 3 little kids and all that, like, I can do it too. So I just need to figure out, where can I spend the time and do it? And so that's a huge thing. If you're seeing someone who is doing something you want to do, you can totally do it. There's nothing special. You'll hear it from elite coaches over and over again. There's nothing special about any of us. It's just that we put in the time and learned how to do it. So this is kind of the overarching question, is like, do you see yourself doing this 15 years from now? It really got me thinking. If you haven't watched the National Wake Up Call, it's a really good one, because it kind of makes you think like, okay, 15 years from now, am I going to do this coaching thing? Am I going to be doing Beachbody? So these are some questions I think of, like, will you still be prioritizing yourself? Will you still be using the products? Will you still be wanting to help other ladies? I answer yes to all those, right? I'm a firm believer I will be like 80 years old doing Beachbody, and it'll probably be like projections coming out of our eyeballs, and like, or we see it in our brains. I don't know what crazy technology they're going to have, right? Because Beachbody started on VHS, and then you bought the DVDs, right? Like, maybe some of your parents bought DVDs, or you know someone. Yeah, Megan's like, yep. Okay. People like will message me and be like, I've done the 21-day fix DVD like 17 times. And I'm like, let's get you Beachbody on demand and do something different. But like, I know me, I plan on doing Beachbody. Like, I do not see a day where I'm not, like, maybe there's days, but like, I don't see a day coming where I'll be like, nah, I'm going to go to the gym instead, because I love my at-home workouts. Will you still be using the products? I love Energize. I love the way they feel. I love the new products they're coming out with. I'm still going to be using them, and I'm always going to want to help people. That's who I am. And that's who you guys are in the court. We're all here because we love helping people. So to me, it's like, okay, I'm going to be doing this in 15 years from now. So I'm not as worried about like, do I have to reach the final destination this year, or can I slowly build? So just some food for thought. So personal development is king. And that is the number one thing that I can suggest to anyone, is the biggest takeaway you will have from this experience is personal development. I think many of the ladies who do personal development daily and have made it a habit will tell you that is the game changer in this whole thing. I put this picture on here. Here is me as a brand new baby coach. I was a coach for 3 months. I went to Summit in Indianapolis. And the girl who's in that photo is completely different than the Brianna I am now, right? I didn't really know how to use social media. I never would have been confident enough to like put myself out there in reels and TikToks and all that kind of stuff. I struggled still with a lot of anxiety, struggled with figuring out who I was. I was someone who, like, if someone approached me at school and was like, oh, have you heard of Beachbody? I probably would have been like, yeah, I do Beachbody. Like, I wouldn't have mentioned I'm a coach. I wouldn't have done anything, right? Like, I was so timid and scared of being who I am, which is like a crazy, like, it reminds me of this cow on my shirt. Like, I feel like this is a good, like, description of who I am. Like, I'm just a crazy heifer in life who, like, just does what she wants. And, like, now it's taken me a long time, but personal development has really helped me do that. So one thing I want you to think about is, like, you have to show up as the person you want to be even before you get there, right? I don't believe in the whole like fake it till you make it thing, because I don't think you really need to fake it, right? I think we can grow into it. But if we keep showing up as the person we want to be, and we keep growing and keep evolving and reaching for new heights, that's when we'll really start to walk into this new person. And I think coaching is such a huge thing of personal development, because it's like, I would think, like, how do I not get phased by the fact that, like, I can send 10 invites in a day, and I'm probably, like, my average is like 2 people are going to respond, right? So I'll be honest, right? So 10 people a day, maybe 2 respond. How does that not like crush your ego? Personal development, right? I understand not everyone's going to respond to me. You know, some people say, how many times do you invite someone until they tell me to F off or they'll sign up, you know? And that's a personal development thing that I learned. I don't give a shit about their opinion. I don't care if they think I'm annoying. And guys, I even put in my message, I've been putting in my invites, I hope you don't find this annoying. And like a lot of them will come back and be like, no, I love that you're checking in on me. It's so nice to have someone who like cares about me. And I'm like, okay, so the people who maybe aren't responding maybe do find it annoying, but the ones who like I'm going to connect with are those people who are like, no, you're fine. Thanks for checking in on me. So it just takes personal development to get outside that bubble of like posting and making reels and doing all those things. So if you need suggestions, let me know. And personal development is really the North Star, right? Like the coaches in this picture. So Val is in the white. She was the original coach I signed up under, and she about 6 months to about a year into my journey, she quit coaching. So there was my upline gone. And then there's Abby. Abby then kind of took me in. We started doing that. Abby had her first baby, bam, gone. And so then I kind of went under Andrea Hansen, who when she bought her property, expanded her boutique, bam, gone. So like if I wouldn't have had all this personal development, which is like national wake up calls, books, team calls, all that, I would have probably quit too. But I'm still here because I'm like, no, I can do this. Like we can figure it out. So do personal development. I want to talk a little bit about consistency compounds, and I have show up. Do what you need to do to show up every day. And if you show up now, they always say it'll pay off like 3 to 6 months later. So excuse me, when you send invites today, it may not translate to a sale 6 months from now is maybe when it'll pay off. I have people who I invite multiple times or they watch me for a long time, but that's why the consistency matters. And I think that coaching is such a compound effect. And today in the National Wake Up Call, they just kept saying, like, take your job seriously as a coach, right? Like, if you were to get a part-time job, if I was to get a part-time job at McDonald's and I was scheduled to work from 4 to 8, like that's what I did in high school, right? 4 to 8 p.m. every day, I would show up at 4 o'clock and I would clock in, I would do my job, I'd clock out and go home. So what if you took your job seriously and you said like, okay, from 5 to 6, I am clocking into coaching and that is what I'm doing. And I know that's hard with children. I know that, like, trust me, from the week I spent with my nieces and nephews, I have like a whole new prop to mothers trying to do all this because I'm like, as much as you want to say like from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'm doing my tracker, and then like your kid's sick and all they want is mom, and it's just like a disaster. But try to schedule that time. And the other thing I want to remind you is that it doesn't have to be like, I was thinking about this the other day, like Mackenzie, I'm just going to use you as an example. Like Mackenzie always beats herself up because she'll like be like rocking a program and then like something happens and she like misses a day or two. And then she's like, dang it, I missed a day or two. Like this sucks. And it's like, okay, but in Mackenzie's life, like for a mom of like 3 littles and 4 all together, but 3 really little kids, like working 4 days or working out 4 days in a row is like a huge win. So then it's like the next day you can pick back up and keep going. And it's the same thing with your tracker. Like I don't expect anyone to like hop in and do their tracker 7 days a week, send 25 invites and do all that if that's not the life like that they can handle. But today in the thing she kept saying, like, you have to take control of your life 100%. And I think that one problem our generation, society has in general is we want to pass the buck to everyone else. And I noticed this today, I'm part of this stupid rummage page, like for, the town I'm moving to. And one lady posted in there, she was mad that she got a letter from the city that her grass was too tall. And she was just complaining about like, I didn't know I lived in an HOA, even though like she doesn't, but like, about like, doesn't people have better things to do than walk around and measure people's grass, and just like complaining about it. And it's like, take control of your like shut up, stop complaining on Facebook and just go mow your grass. Like it probably, the time you spent complaining probably would have been the same time it'd take you to mow your grass. Like, so that's, I think of like the amount of time we spend avoiding doing our tracker, like the amount of time I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to invite now. Like, okay, I'm going to get my crap together. Okay. Like I'm going to do it. Like I spend half an hour just pumping myself up to do my tracker when I'm like, I gotta be done with invites in the amount of time. So like take control of your life and take responsibility. But where this compounds, Sarah and I, this is where we were talking about like that long lasting thing is like why my coach and like Andrea hasn't canceled their coach accounts is because the consistency compounds and you have this residual income and people under you that makes it worth it. So what might seem like one challenger now, right? I think of if Steph is still on. Here she is, right? Like she signed up one challenger last month and it was so exciting, first challenger. And then she just signed up another challenger, right? So like you sign up one, which compounds to two, and then you get a third and so on. And you get like a few years down the road and you have like hundreds of these lives you change and people in your downline and people of other people's coaches adding. And you just start to get this compound effect where like it's a lot less difficult for the ball to be rolling, right? And so that's where it's like, if you just show up, I had show up for whatever amount of time you can, because it's going to pay off 3 to 6 months from now and it'll continue to pay off, right, guys? The people who joined me my first 6 months of coaching, some of them I lost because I was a bad coach my first few months because I didn't know what I was doing. And that's okay. It's all a learning curve. You know, but now I have people that have stuck with me for I'm going on 3.5 years. You know, I have people that have stuck with me for 3 years and they've been, you know, doing new programs when they come out. They've been buying some products here and there. They've been, you know, renewing their bod, and all of that compounds to, you think of bod renewals. Now we're going to get $50 a bod renewal. If you have 3 friends to do a bod renewal a month, that's $150 in your pocket, plus the new people you're adding in, et cetera. So consistency compounds. And yes. So tracking, how do you, right? The whole point of this is creating a long lasting business. So we want to utilize that consistency, but how are you tracking? How are you tracking who you invite? How do you track who you follow up with, who you sign up, and what are your metrics? So I have a Google sheet that is very simple. It is their name, the date I invited them, and it is like any notes, right? Like already has Beachbody or wants to sign up in June, or other things like notes for me, right? Tried Beachbody, hated it, or, you know, called me bad names. Just kidding. That's never happened. But right, like notes for myself. And then I like to use that to follow up. So if I see that I message Cindy Luhu on June 1st and she's like, yeah, I'd love more details. This program sounds amazing. And it's June 7th and I sent her the details and I haven't heard back from her, I'm going to check back in. But if you don't have the system to check back in, it's probably not going to happen. And then this is what's going to happen. And I hate when this happens. You're going to check in like 4 months later because you forgot about Cindy Luhu, and you scroll past her name to invite her and you see that like you never followed up, and then you message her and she's like, yeah, I've been doing Beachbody and now I'm a coach and like I'm rocking it and life's great. And you're like, dang it, you could have been my human and, you know, a great addition to our group, but I forgot to check in with you. And then who do you sign up and how do you check in with them? So, you know, do you message them once a week? Do you message them once a month? Do you have do you text them? what do you do with them? And then what are your metrics? They say anything you're not tracking, you're not really caring about much, right? So like tracking how many invites you send, tracking how many, who you've contacted, tracking your success club points or your volume, or I love to track my income and see, is my income increasing or decreasing? If it's decreasing, why? What's going on? Tracking how many coaches we add, right? Just the more things you can track, the better, because then you're more aware of it. So if you see, oh, well, my business is really lacking this month, but you're like, I think I'm sending enough invites. Well, you're only sending, 3 invites a day, but you're not tracking it. Then you'll be like, oh, I'm only sending 3 invites instead of like 5 to 7. So make sure you are tracking things. And if you need help with the system, let me know. I'd love to help you. This is the part I really wanted to talk about, was preventing burnout, because I think I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I think I got to a point, like when we were moving and finishing the basement and all that, like I was slightly burnt out. Like I couldn't do it. Like I was from, getting up at 4 a.m., going to bed at 10 p.m., just like spending every waking hour doing something. And I was like burnt out. And so here's a few tips to not get burnt out and to love it, because I love coaching right now. Like I love it. Absolutely. Is turn your notifications off. So how many of you guys still have your notifications on for Facebook and Instagram? Turn them off. Turn them off. It's going to just bring so much peace to your life. This is something Angie actually like got me doing, because I'm like, if you're like me, right, I like message someone and I'm like, hey, you want more details? And then they message me and I'm like, oh my God, I have to respond to you right now, because what if I don't respond to you right now? Then maybe, I'm going to fall off the planet and die, and you're not going to get signed up. And oh my God. And so I used to be so paranoid of like, if I don't respond right now, then, they're not going to sign up. But now I realize I need to protect my peace. Like, that's why a lot of times in group chats, like someone will be like, I'm hopping on Zoom. And I'm like, I'm unaware because I'm playing with my dogs or I'm hanging out with Shane. But I know one thing that was really hard on our relationship was when I wanted to do coaching in the evenings, but he wanted to spend time with me. And it would turn into just like me messaging people on my phone when him and I should have been having time together. So that unplugged time is super important. And it helps me not check my phone during my workout, not wake up to notifications. It makes me just less anxious. It's great. Because I think it's easier too when you designate a time for it. And even in your life, like even for non-coaching things, honestly, guys, not having constant like Facebook messages, Instagram notifications, way nicer in life, and it's easier to detach. No one is going to die, and you are not going to lose a sale just by not responding to someone right away. Like, I try to, and this is bad, I have messages that have been like sitting in my inbox for 3 days, so don't do as I say, not as I do right now, is that I try to respond within 24 hours, because I'm like, no, like that's a good time frame, 24 hours. To prevent burnout, schedule a time and stick to it. The easiest thing is like, I started doing my tracker at 2 p.m. So like at 2 p.m. my mind's fired up, ready to do it. Like, and my schedule knows that. So for me, it's easier for me to pick a time and do it at the same time every single day, and not just like right on the fly. I know Angie and I, when we were in school, we did it right when we got home from school, right? Maybe the morning, like when your kids are playing, is the only time that you are like, okay, they're still not like in the morning, maybe they independently play more than they do in the afternoon. Okay, so like create a time, and maybe it won't be perfect every single day. Like I did my tracker later tonight because today got busy. But then it's easier for your body to do it, and just like your mind, because you're already geared up to do it. And create a system. Whether that be timers, whether that be like, I always try to start with my invites, because it's like, that's the thing, like my hurdle to get over. Create systems for onboarding new people, right? What do you do when someone signs up for you? Create just a step-by-step guide for yourself, so then you're not all flustered. Or create a system when someone says, hey, yeah, tell me more details about that program. Something like that. Then these are the two I want to touch on the most, is do what feels right for you. The next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of like the season you're in. But here's the thing, guys, is like, if it doesn't feel right for you to, voice message 20 people and invite them, then don't do that. If it doesn't feel right for you to go on and comment stuff on people's posts that like you feel like you're not being genuine commenting on people's posts, like you feel like you're just doing it because Brianna said you had to do it or Beachbody said you had to do it, then don't do it. Do what feels right for you. Now you have to understand, right? There are certain things that are going to help or hurt you, but I don't want anyone to think like, oh, this is the only way to be successful, because there's not. I mean, there's like all of us, and we all run our businesses different ways. And so do what feels right for you, and then post about what you love. I think everyone gets so caught up in like, what do I post? I don't know what to say. But everyone, guys, there are people who have Instagrams about their dogs that have hundreds of thousands of followers. There's people who have it just about like restaurants to eat at. They have it about cheese, ice cream. Like, I'm just trying to think of random things that people have Instagrams about. Like, do whatever you love. If you're passionate about your faith, if you're passionate about mom life, if you're passionate about travel or whatever, do what you love to talk about, food, grocery shopping, whatever, because at the end of the day, like, you'll find your people. Like, I think too, sometimes we try too hard to like create content that we think our following wants, instead of creating content we really enjoy to help people with. And then we're not creating authentic content because we're trying to love something we don't love. Okay. And then understand where you want to be. So this is such a huge thing. Like I talked about, ebbs and flows in the business. Like, I did not have a lot of time in the month of May. I really didn't touch coaching at all because I genuinely didn't have a lot of time or mental capacity to do it. But I understood understood that that was okay. So, for example, does your action line up with your desired outcome? So, right now, I really want to increase my business. I want to add to our team, add to my challengers. So it's like, are my actions lining up to that? Or maybe you're like, I'm just here for fun. Like if I add one person a month, I'm all good. Okay, well, one person a month. Okay, then that's okay sending like 3 invites a day. But if you're like, I want to be a diamond coach, I want to quit my job, I want to like make an income so my family can be a little more relaxed with money, like, okay, then you have to have actions to back that up. So I want everyone to be in a place like I'm not a team leader, and maybe this is my Enneagram too of like everyone, I want everyone to feel good, is that like I'm not here to say like you have to run your business a certain way or you want certain goals. But success does take work. And so I think it's easy for us to like look at the goal and think like, oh, like I don't need to do a lot to get there, but success takes work. But honestly, the longer you do it and the more consistent you are, the easier it gets. Like doing my tracker now is almost a mindless activity. Like not mindless, but like I've done it so much that it's not the struggle it used to be. Like you can ask Angie. I mean, we used to get on and we're like, we don't know who to invite. We don't know what we're doing. This is a struggle. Whereas now it's a lot simpler. So you can too. My brain didn't read that. Right. I just think of Punta Cana. That was literally the most amazing trip ever. So here are my 3 takeaways for you. Like if you're leaving this call and you're like, okay, Brianna just talked my ear off for like a really long time and I really tuned out, is that show up every day. And this is if you want to move your business forward, which if you're here, you probably want to move your business forward, right? Show up every day and do your tracker at least 5 times a week. Like there's a difference. Angie and I talked about this too. There's a difference too of like not wanting to do your tracker, but forcing yourself to doing it and like not feeling in the mental state. Like when I was sick last week, like there were days I didn't send invites because I wasn't in the right mental state. Like you are allowed to do that, right? Take a sick day if you need to take a sick day, but don't let yourself take a sick day just because you want to. And then focus on what you love to talk and share about and keep the goal in mind and visualize your success. If you want, something specific, make your vision board, set it as your background. For a long time, like my background was what the goal I was going for, right? It said, be a diamond coach, have this many team members, hit this rank, all that kind of stuff, because it reminded me every single day of that goal and kind of fired me up for it. And so I guess at the end of the day, that's how I'm so passionate about it, because I let myself ebb and flow. You can't be on the gas 100% of the time and you can't beat yourself up about it. Like if you're like, oh, I didn't do my tracker, I haven't done my tracker in 2 weeks. Like that's okay. But like, then what do we do moving forward? Like, is it something you need to continue not doing your tracker, or like, can you, and you're just trying to go over that hurdle? So I hope that kind of helps you. That's kind of when I was thinking about like, how have I done this for 3 years and how will I know I'm going to continue to do this? So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them if you have any. Is Matt grilling? I was on the phone with someone and they were like grilling steaks. And I was like, how are you standing over a grill in this weather? Now I just see the little baby. So cute. Okay. So any questions? Hopefully you all took a little tidbit out of that. If you have a topic you really want me to talk on, let me know. And we can talk on it. I should find a guest again. But Monday nights, we'll be here Monday night because it's summertime, and I think it's a little better because Sundays are still like summertime. Like in the winter, Sundays are like sleep and get ready for the week. During summer, I feel like it's like you take every second of the weekend you possibly can. So I shall talk to you guys later. I hope you had a great Monday and see you next week.